Welcome back to Shemsuniverse. So today, guys, we're going to discuss the relationship between Taurus and Aquarius. So their compatibility, I'm not going to lie to you guys, it's not the best. With Taurus and Capricorn, at least we had two earth signs that could get along and see things from the same value set. With these two now, we're not quite getting that. We have a fixed sign in Taurus that we know is the fixed earth sign, all about stability, security, trust, and being very grounded into reality. And then we get to Aquarius, which is probably, it's considered the most unusual sign. It does create a lot of innovators and geniuses and people that are capable of doing a lot with their lives when it comes to, like I said before, pioneering different ideas into the world that we call innovation for short. Aquarius is represented by Uranus or Rahu, however you want to put it. And because of that, they have a very unusual perspective of the world. They look at, if you look at things one way, they'll probably look at it the other way or inside out. They'll never really see eye to eye with other people in that sense, and that's what makes them revolutionaries. That's what makes them very special to a certain extent. They're on the 11th house when it comes to social settings, your friendships, your acquaintances, and so forth. So with relationships, there's a bit of hardships for them. So when they get into contact with Taurus, Taurus wants to know that they can trust their partner in an intimate relationship. They want to be able to be with somebody that they're able to have clear communication with. Their actions are clear and concise. And then Aquarius wants like the total opposite. They want the freedom, the lack of restriction. They don't really feel like they need to say I love you. They're more of the type of people that are they come off kind of cold in that sense, but they'll do things to show that they love you. And Taurus can't really stand that. So on one hand, we have Taurus in an intimate relation that would just find the Aquarius person crazy or just too erratic for their liking. They don't have any sort of pattern that they can recognize. And then you have the Aquarius person that's going to look at them like they're very boring, rudimentary, too routine, just not doing enough. So when you bring these two together, whether it be a man-woman relation, same gender, whatever, you just have two sets of people that just will not be able to see eye to eye. Their values and how they show their love are just very different. How they have like affection is very different. The Aquarius is an air sign, fixed air, so they're very much in the intellectual sphere of things. Whereas Taurus, represented by Venus, which is in the loving, sexual, touching sort of thing. They're really good at intimate relations. They're good at that long-term, being locked in and so forth. But the Aquarius person is like the opposite. They don't want to be locked in. They don't want to feel like they can't go anywhere. And it's literally like considering somebody who wants to live on the 67th floor of a skyscraper downtown and that person that just wants to have a white picket fence in the suburbs. It's two different types of people. The Aquarius, of course, is the person that wants to be in the city. Taurus type person wants to have the white picket fence and just everything is just routine, nice neighborhood, blah, blah, blah. Nothing random happens. So they're both very fixed in their ways. The only suggestion I would have to make it work is to understand that opposites do attract. Understand that you can make it work if you're able to understand your partner's sort of logic, their way of thinking, and then using that to your advantage, that you're able to actually make them make up and compensate for what you lack. So if you lack excitement and being spontaneous, make your Aquarius partner show you that side of life. If you're Aquarius and you don't have much grounding in a lot of good things like with financing, which we'll get into in a second, like just budgeting and just being more security oriented, then go to the Taurus and then talk to them about that. And then that way you guys will actually have things to conversate about and it'll actually be able to work. For percent wise, intimate relations, I give them like 30% or maybe less. It doesn't really work between these two. They're just two fixed signs. They're just fixed in two different directions. Another big thing, we're going to get into business right now, is that Uranus dies, the planet Rahu dies in the Taurus position. Meaning it just is like, you know how we have planets that exalt in certain positions. This in the Taurus position, the second house, it just dies completely. Meaning it isn't good there. It doesn't work well, it doesn't mesh. So their energies, the ruling planet for Aquarius doesn't even mesh with Taurus as is. Like it doesn't like its nature. So that's why the percentage wise, it's just so low. For business, it's the same sort of analogy. I'd say 30 to 40%, maybe a bit more for business it could work because Aquarius is definitely a very good innovator. And Taurus would be good at grounding their ideas and then putting it into material practice by doing processes that's going to actually bring it to fruition in the business world. So they can definitely work in regards to like business if they're able to use that concept that I just brought up. Make the Aquarius come up with the idea, innovate, and then manifest it. And then the Taurus person who puts it into action. That's the only way I could see it really working. A 50-50 split where they're just doing a partnership sort of business together It depends what the roles may be and depending on what business or what caliber of people they are. Obviously, we're not just represented by one sign, there's a whole bunch. But just speaking about the 2 sun signs particularly, for business, it wouldn't be the best just simply because Aquarius is a lack of attachments. Sometimes they could be a little late with even meeting deadlines and so forth just because they're in their own mental sphere. So they need to be left alone to be that creative person. Whereas Taurus is going to be all about deadlines and bookings and the administrative part of things. So as long as you guys are able to like use your own strengths, then even that could work very easily. And actually, you guys can definitely create a big empire if you use their strengths like properly. Friendship wise, because of the energies, I have to give it a low score as well. I'm being nice by saying 30 to 40% as well, same as with business. Just because, like I said, when you get 2 people that their energies naturally don't mesh, it's like meeting somebody that you naturally just like, I just didn't like their aura, I just didn't like their energy, I didn't get a good feeling around them. Our star alignments and so forth actually contribute to that. So if you have somebody who's like your opposition sun sign, you might find that you actually naturally just don't get along with them. And you're thinking like, nah, it must be something else. It literally is just simple, just their sun signs, the reason you cannot get along with them. So for a friendship of that source, I would say you can try it. Of course, if you just naturally meet somebody, you're not going to know their birthday right away. So if you guys naturally get along, then hooray. But if not, understand that it's probably just because of the whole planetary influence and it just won't work in a friendship sequence like that. But aside from that, guys, that should conclude the video. If you do have any questions regarding any of it, just please let me know in the comments. Aside from that, please like, subscribe. Holla at me. That's it for today, guys. Peace.